Welcome back. Today we're going to try something a little different. During my trek to the local tip shop today, I came across some Eurorack mounted hardware, and I'm not particularly interested in the hardware in the chassis itself. I really just wanted the Eurorack enclosures because they're probably going to be handy for building like old 6502 or Z80 systems into at a later date. And in fact, I've actually started doing that with a Z80 based system that we'll probably get back to before too long. So yeah, I thought we might just have a bit of a look at what I found and yeah, pull it apart, see what's in it. So yeah, let's get into it. So what we've got is a PACOM 3170. It appears to be part of I'm guessing a video surveillance system of some sort, but it's only a stab in the dark based on the BNC connectors on the back. PACOM is an Australian company, Pacific Communications, I think it is. And I've tried doing a little bit of Googling on this unit, but found absolutely nothing. So we're sort of on our own. We've got a power supply there at the right, and then these cards in the chassis, they're all identical. They connect to the back plane, and the back plane has 7 BNC connectors for each card. So here's the BNC connectors, and there's a lot of them. PCB mount BNC connectors. Might be able to recover them and use them for something else one day, not sure. And then on the very end here, we've got the power connector and what looks like serial in and out for RS422. The little L-shaped circuit board that's covering the high voltage where it connects through into the backplane connector to feed the power supply board. The unit's got a fairly nice front cover on it, obviously with PACOM 3170 written on it, and these little snap undone sort of latching screws, which are quite nice. And then the front panel just lifts off. And as I mentioned before, we've got however many of these, 4, 8, 12, so 15 of these cards and a power supply board with an event LED by the look of it. Nothing holding those in, they literally just pull straight out. So the power supply board, aside from the toroidal transformer, which looks like it puts out 2 9-volt windings, appears to have a microcontroller, so we'll dig into that in a minute, see what that's about. We've got a 16550, that's a UART, serial UART, which would be driving the serial ports on the back. Set of dip switches, which it says is frame address, so that would be if you've got multiples of these enclosures. I imagine you set the address uniquely so that whatever system is driving them can select which chassis it's talking to. I don't know, we'll have to look it up, but I'm guessing these are going to be sort of level converters for driving the serial interfaces both in and out. This crystal is 1843.2. I'm guessing that's for the serial chip, because there's another crystal over here which is, if I can read it, 7.37. So I'd say that's 7.37 megahertz would be my guess. I reckon that's we'll have a look. Yep, 7805 voltage regulator, and switchable power supply between 230 volts and 115. So yeah, probably some salvageable parts on that, I would expect. Dip switches. I mean, other than the microcontroller, I'm assuming it's a microcontroller. Other than that, everything's soldered into the board, but no, 16550s are handy. Although I've got a box full of those already, but they are handy. 7805s are handy. Again, I've got a box full of those. Transformer might be handy one day. Dip switches are handy. So probably got some salvageable parts. And the second layer of circuit board on the back, that'll be covering the high voltage, the 240 volts, in this sort of area where the transformer and the, sorry, not that area, where is it? So the 240 volts is coming in on this connector. Don't know exactly where it passes. I'm guessing through this, one of these fuses at least, and into the transformer. That's the primary side there. So yeah, it must be a bit of a convoluted path that it takes to get there, but anyway. So I'll have a bit more of a look at that in a minute. In addition to the power supply board, we have a bunch of these boards. I have no idea what these are. Other than based on the VSYNC connectors, I'm guessing they're some sort of video switching adapter or something of that nature, but I honestly don't know. So as expected, this board has a 7805 voltage regulator, another 7805, 7905, so that'll be -5. I have no idea what that is. I mean, the date code's 9627. What is... HC405. Yeah, I'm not quite sure off the top of my head what that is, but we'll look that up. There's another one of those 2444 CNs. Yeah, not quite sure what we're looking at there. And then we've got this, which is a 74HC14, which would just be a generic 74 series IC, but I can't remember off the top of my head what a 14 is, so we'll look that up. So at this point, if I was taking a stab in the dark, I'd be guessing that this board is intended to take video feeds from security cameras and overlay either the time or an identification string over the video and then output it again for recording. And even though there were 7 VSYNC connectors on the back of, like on the back plane for each card, I'm guessing this is probably a 3-channel card. So it's probably 3 inputs, 3 outputs, and I don't know what the 7th VSYNC is for, but it's only an educated guess. So yeah, I reckon I'll put these cards back in and try feeding some video in from something, I don't know what yet, and see what we get. Okay, so I got it to power up, but I can't get it to do anything other than accept a video camera signal from this camera here right in front of me. And it's replicating it on the other 6 ports. It's the exact same signal on all 6 ports. And I can't believe this chassis is simply a like a video input splitter, because it's way too complex for that. I'm guessing you need the control software to drive the serial input. And then once you drive that and set the clock and the identification strings and things, it must overlay them on the individual outputs, I'm guessing. But either way, it does seem to be a sort of a 1 to 6 replication thing. So each card seems to take 1 input and produce 6 outputs. And there's jumpers on the board to set whether it's presumably a direct input to output, or whether it's got the identification string on it, or whether it's got the clock on it. But I think without the software to drive the serial port, I'm probably going to be unable to play with it much more. Anyway, that was interesting. So next up, I thought it might be interesting to pull the microcontroller chip out, which is this one here. See if we can drop it in the Mini Pro and read its contents out, see if there's anything interesting in there. I hate pulling these chips out. They are just... they're just painful to get out. But I don't think I damaged anything. So we'll put that in the Mini Pro and see if we can't read it out. Here we go. Okay, see how we go. So I've got the Mini Pro software, and I've got it set up. I just picked a random 87C51, which is what this is, and read. Yeah, it looks read, and we've read it. Okay, well, there's a copyright message. Copyright 23rd of March 96, P3170 004 power supply board, version 1.3 by Raymond Yim. Raymond Yim. Don't know who that is. Not seeing anything else earth-shattering in here so far. So these 8751s, I'm pretty sure have 4K of EEPROM on them. So there's theoretically 4K of, or up to 4K of code here, but there's nothing exciting in here. No messages or, yep, and then we're getting down into emptiness by the look of it. Yep. And then we're empty. So there's only, well, it fits into, what's that, 2K? So it's 2K of code. Nothing very eventful there. Oh, well, it was worth a sticky beak. Well, that was a moderately interesting Saturday afternoon dig into a bit of old retro video surveillance hardware from the tip shop. I've got a few other things like that floating around here that we might have a look at sometime. As I say, I bought that piece of equipment, well, actually two of them, primarily just for the enclosure. The circuit boards themselves aren't really of much interest to me other than what parts I can salvage off them. But anyway, if you found that interesting and you want to subscribe, feel free. If you want to tap that like button, feel free to do that too. And we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.